Cinema Cracks off the record. We are going to have a Game of Thrones cast. Impromptu. Out of nowhere. Quabash, we're back. It's already been 2 episodes. And you've been waiting. I did actually find that. Do you listen to any Game of Thrones podcasts?
I do not.
I followed a few. And they're all awful for timing. They cannot... This is you've given yourself a hard time here.
I'm sticking to it.
Sean's holding his maester's chain, but high, and it's very heavy, and it's very, very noisy, so...
It's all these various things I've forged. It's the one's made of Valyrian steel, because I studied the high mysteries.
Of course. Oh, that would be a good thing. If they did, that would be a decent... If they introduced one new character to this series, which they have no room to, but if they did, if it was some maester with a Valyrian steel maester's chain... You know, because it's so trashy now.
Pure
Valyrian steel and like sharpened, and it was his weapon.
Yeah, so you could what's that woman, that really bad James Bond ripoff? Bloody hell, I can't remember.
James Bond ripoff?
Yeah, she had a necklace and she just pulled off it, whipped it out and killed people with it. And you know, one of those...
It sounds like a Catwoman when she's not in costume type thing.
Yes, I could see that.
She just have to have something about her.
Yeah, the bad guy, he was like a Jaws rapper, but he had a metal hand instead of a mouth.
That's so shit. It was a Jamie Lannister type then.
Yes.
Very good.
Probably will look no.
But anyway, what I mean is they're so bad for timing because there's never one that's released the day after in the morning. They release the podcast talking about the episode that was out in the night. You know, for UK people, a few of them are UK based.
Well, we struggled. In all fairness, some of it is hard to get to it in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, but the number of them that are just, after, released on a Thursday after it's been out on Tuesday, and it's like they've just watched it. They probably did, and then they've been editing and stuff, and because they make them proper. But just a long form discussion thing about it, people have been dying for that, really, I suppose, because it's on so late. I won't even be surprised this year if they did a after show thing.
They do that. Does it not?
Do they still do it?
Talk of the Thrones, something like that?
Right, because it used to air right after it was on telly, didn't it?
Yes.
That wasn't what was coming on after Lost when I watched it.
Oh, Lost was Lost the first
No,
one?
sorry, not Lost. God, I've been watching too much Lost.
was Lost the first one to do it, though? Or was it The Walking Dead?
No, Walking Dead, I think, was the first
Talking Dead.
Yeah, no, they didn't. Did they do it even for Lost?
Or was it Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad was after the Talking Dead in America. Because it was Chris Hardwick, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah. I think they did it after the last season of Lost, was it the finale?
Yeah, I don't know why I said that. I do know why I said Lost, because I'm watching it again. But no, it didn't come on after Game of Thrones. Nothing else came on. But if we could do a quick reaction thing and get it up there.
Maybe we'll try next week.
But it's impossible. You can't. People have chosen their podcast now for the season, I think.
No, we'll break in.
We'll break in at episode 3 and it's like, sorry we're late.
We'll do it different. We will be the improv guys. Exactly. And it'll be really great. I mean, it'll be fantastic.
We pretend we've only just become interested because of Arya's scene in this episode. That's the only reason. We didn't really know what it was about. We saw this link.
Yeah, hadn't been flagged for.
I've always wanted to do a podcast where you just be as awful as you possibly can.
Well, I did want to do like a shit version of Time Ghost.
Yeah. Which is already a shit version of something else.
Probably. Is it?
Well, it's like a shit pissy take version out of just that kind of cultural commentator, isn't it? That middle class.
Yeah. Okay.
Time Ghost. Yes, Time Ghost. The Time Ghost.
Zeitgeist.
Yeah, I need to listen to them again. They're very good. But anyway, where are we with Game of Thrones? We're in the second episode of the final
2 days ago of the very first
final series Game of Thrones has ever had, and perhaps the first final series they will ever have. But we shall see.
The grand final.
Yeah, the grand finale is here, and they're going very quickly, aren't they, Sean? I think they are.
Yes, I think they have to though. They've not given themselves much room.
No, they're going through very quickly through all the things that people would have in a list of saying, well, this must happen. Well, since everyone's just been shoved together, there's like a big list of interactions that need to be had.
Well, I'm going to say it. I'm going to use those words. It's fan service.
Oh yeah, very much so. But what else do we expect at this point?
Well, that's all final seasons really are.
Well, yeah.
Other than Lost.
Other than Lost.
To refer back to what you brought up.
It was sort of a weird snide fan service, Lost. It was like, yeah, they were dead all the time, but only for the last season. So when you were all saying it, you were wrong. You were totally wrong. Like, we used the idea, yeah, sure, we used it, but in an alternate reality, that was always when they were dead. Yes, but in terms of the fan service, I think they're doing a very good job.
They are, and what was the first bit that stood out for me? I actually like Jon and Daenerys as a couple. I'm going to go straight in there. I think that's fan service.
Based on which scenes? I understand that is fan servicey, definitely. Almost so much that I don't think it's as effective as it would have been if they'd have teased it a bit.
No, I agree with that. Yes.
But go on. Why do you like them as a couple?
Well, I think they initiated the season by presenting them as quite a nice, a collaborative couple that were working well together.
Yeah.
And then Samwell and Bran introduced a fly into that ointment.
Yeah.
Spreading.
But regardless of the fly, the ointment itself, why is it such good ointment? Why are anyone bothered that there's a fly in it?
Because I think it's producing. Perhaps it's fabricating drama, but I think it's producing a different type of tension.
Yeah,
and it's setting up what will perhaps become it's setting up the continued game of the throne.
It's true. It is, isn't it? That is the remaining part of the Game of Thrones vying for who's going to be in power. That's all that's left of it, isn't it? They've concentrated that apart from Cersei.
The rest of them have sort of given up on it. They're dead, or they've given up on it.
Yeah. And Cersei and Euron is the little thing that is very old school Game of Thrones, isn't it?
Yes,
like
sat around King's Landing, drinking wine.
Yeah, very, very old school.
Ruminating.
But the ointment, Sean. Who cares about those two as a couple? They're not funny. They're not endearing. They're never cute or anything. It's never, profound or in any way sort of like.
You don't find the cute thing actually doesn't matter. I'm not going to.
Perhaps there's cute. Perhaps there's cute because they're very cute little people.
What I think it shows is that at this stage in the whole storyline of where Game of Thrones at the moment, it's very grim. Game of Thrones has always been quite dark, and it's it's not a nice, it's not a fairy tale.
Sure,
but it was a. What's the word? It was a contradiction. I can't remember. It's a. What is the damn word? I can't remember.
I know which one you're trying to get as well. The contradiction in terms or
it's contradiction in tone.
It's a paradox. No,
it's yes. Anyway,
yeah, it always has had that
of tone. It was something that was nice, that gave you a sense of security, something stable for a moment whilst it building up to this battle, which you know is going to be terrible. It's going to kill loads of things.
Yes,
and for a moment you had something that reminded you of sort of a nicer, a little bit less. Game of Thrones starts off being all cloak and dagger, quite slow with its tone. And
if there's any love, it's all tragic.
It's all tragic. And
it's like Renly and what's her face, Brienne.
Yes,
it's all unrequited or been ripped apart too soon. But I suppose it could be quite similar to Rob and what's her face.
Oh God,
Book. Who knows? Different person in the show.
Different, but yes, she was from Volantis in the show.
Yeah, but they did sort of the same thing there, didn't they? Where it's sort of like you didn't have to buy that one, did you? The reason I'm saying is that I agree it serves that function, and that's great, especially before what's coming. I get that it serves that function, but only if you buy them dramatically, emotionally as a couple. And I'm just like, I don't really get it. I know that maybe I just take it for granted that they are quite similar people, that they would go well together from their actions. You know, they're both willing to compromise and all this. Well, I suppose Daenerys is less so, but I just don't know. They haven't had many scenes showing them play out the dynamic they have.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. Are you talking from a character point of view?
Exactly.
I was going to jump on the same thing there and say, well, perhaps maybe my acceptance of it is because of the pace of the last two seasons. It's been very brisk and all over the place. with Jon and Daenerys, I accepted it after about 4 scenes together of them being a couple. Maybe I shouldn't have because
have they even been 4?
Well, there may not have been. You're right, but
counting the stuff at Dragonstone helps because that's where all the work was done. I think when it was sort of like they've just met and there's a bit of a something. It's like we're still meant to be riding off that.
Yes, with that initial Jon bending the knee.
And they had a bit of banter. They had a bit of things where he's just a bit we're playing a different game here. I respect you, sort of thing.
And the dragons trusting him. That's a big thing for Daenerys, isn't it?
It is, but not big enough of a thing. Why didn't she question that? Surely she knows that he shouldn't just be able to fucking ride a dragon, no worries.
Oh, that's in the latest.
Yeah,
in the latest.
I know you're skipping about, but
well, no, you're right because there's no one else that's actually had that kind of pull with the dragons at all.
No. It's very odd that she's just like she says it so like cavalierly, like yeah, sure, just get on. It's what I do, and it's like, well, you do that because you're their mother. You're the mother of dragon. You're Targaryen,
is he?
Mainly, but you're like the main Targaryen to them. So even if you knew Jon was a Targaryen and a very a royal Targaryen, you'd still be a bit worried about letting him try because you don't know that it might not be.
Perhaps
safe.
though, there's something they've hinted
Might
at.
not be safe. Oh, I'm so concerned for Jon. Why didn't she think about? That's why she doesn't love him. She doesn't love him because you don't take care of him. Lets him get on the dragon. Don't know what's going to happen. Oh, what do I hold on to? Anything you can. Oh, fucking hell! Do you like this guy? Do you want
didn't
him to?
even make him wear a helmet.
No, she didn't, did she? No. Or a gum shield.
Or a gum shield.
He might have knocked his back onto one of those spikes.
Didn't get Ned to sign a little piece of paper in loco parentis.
Oh, that's right. He said though, innit? That's difficult.
He did.
Oh, that's a difficult situation for him. The bastard.
Oh, did
I've
you
got to stop
notice?
saying that.
Did you notice?
What? Go on.
They were stood in front of the statue and said, next time you're with me, we'll talk about your mother.
I did. I thought maybe they were even going to do like, the top left third of the screen sort of fades in with his face and says, next time I see you. Just says it. And then it cuts to Jon fully. That's gone. It fades away and he just looks down.
They don't really do flashbacks though.
No, it'd be great if they suddenly
have
decided
like a crescendo of music because then obviously you said like Ned Stark's voice.
Really cheesy.
Why
that
not?
would be great. That's what I want them to do now.
But they need so going back to the relationship.
Yeah.
I think I accept it because of the brisk pace, because it's a fan servicey. Maybe I shouldn't have if I was going to be, but I think at this stage
they're going to do more with it, aren't they?
Yes,
they want us to be in this position where we don't really understand their relationship. I think,
but it has paid off as well because it's then created. I can't say whether it's natural or completely fabricated because I don't know where. But it seems like because of the space, because of the pace, it's happened. But it seems like it's going to go somewhere. It's going to lead into some actual important story later on.
Yeah, but I do like it on a performance level. I think they do well with what we've seen.
Yes, and Emilia Clarke, her reaction, the way she acted, her reaction to Daenerys finding out that Jon was a target.
Yeah, that was good.
I quite liked that.
Yeah, no, it was very good.
You could see that the struggle of emotion in her face. She said she loved him, but then and everything she's wanted her entire life. This man.
I think he did it in sort of a brutal way.
He did, and it's a bit
like he blamed her for it, like she should have fucking known or something.
Yeah. Neither of them seemed bothered about the incest side of things.
Well, they obviously are. They just didn't. What the first thing they say is, "No, but we." They should have. It should have been something like that.
I suppose you're right. You probably wouldn't.
Or like they just look at each other and just go, "Ew." Laugh track comes in. Laugh track as well. That's what they could do with
in the background.
Have a laugh track. Flashbacks, soft focus, little dead people talking. And
put a nice sort of haze over it.
Yeah, lovely.
To add a different colour tone when they're talking about different things.
Where's the haze been in Game of Thrones? Where's that lovely? Put a bit of what's it called? Wax on the lens.
Yeah, it works well. He was a Defenders in Marvel's The Defenders. So yeah, Jessica Jones was always a purple. Whenever the purple man's on you, it was a purple haze over the screen.
Yes, the lighting. It looks like one of those programs where the lighting is very flary and like they do all that.
You see that nonsense that they use, and then you actually look at a production that schooled everyone else, like Moonlight.
Yeah.
For example, that use sound and light spot on to
really
represent
seen it, but I know
different emotions and different frames and tones that was going on. It was very well done in Moonlight.
Yeah. But fine, yeah, time will tell with Daenerys and Jon, won't it? Because they need to go through their trials yet and their tribulations to test them to see how they fare.
Two things.
But if they just keep, not talking about things, it's going to be
First one, Rambit, did you know George Lucas was on set and helped direct some of their scenes together as a couple?
That's cool. Yeah, that's interesting. No, I didn't know that.
Apparently, he went as a guest or something, and while he was there, they asked his advice. I can imagine that more went a case of he imposed his advice upon them.
He's a real sod, isn't he?
Yeah, because he's a bit egocentric, George. But
yeah, no, I bet that. Yeah, that's weird. It is odd just to think of the connections with Star Wars with those two.
Are there?
Well, I don't know.
There's not an Anakin and Padme connection there, or a Han Solo and.
What about
Leia?
Luke and Leia? They're related.
Yes. Okay.
And they kissed.
Yeah. Okay. That's the same.
That's the stuff that Spielberg is into.
Yes, I suppose that's the same as comparing Grenfell and Notre Dame. That's been going around the social stratosphere lately, isn't it?
Well, I suppose it could be if you're criticising the renovation, the government-funded renovation being slapdash.
Yes.
Perhaps you could.
Well, the fact they both had a fire.
Well, yeah, exactly. Obviously. Right. So yeah, I think that's good. But we talked a bit about Jon and Daenerys because it's one of the big things.
I'm going to lead into the next thing with that. Jenny of Oldstones.
Yeah. What did actually happen with that? It was good, but what?
It was the song. It came from the book where the Brotherhood worshipped a ghost, not Lady Grey. Not Lady Grey. It was a ghost that haunted her. It's quite a tragic story of a woman that loved a lord, and him and his house died, and she was the only one left. And all the things she did to appease his ghost, it's very similar to a lot of the tribulations from the characters are going through at the moment. And apparently one of the lords, the lord that she loved specifically, was a Targaryen who forsook his titles and responsibilities to be with her because she herself was originally a prostitute, what do they call it? A hooker, a whore. A whore.
What do you call it?
Whore.
What do you call those?
As Tywin would say. Whore. The next whore you'll find in your bed.
She was a whore. Okay,
but,
so
so they're connecting that song with Jon possibly giving up forsaking his lands and titles and everything, his claim to the throne, to remain loyal to Daenerys, or maybe even the other way around. I doubt that will happen because Daenerys is a villain.
Well, we've decided that already, haven't we?
We did. That was our commentary from 2.5 years ago.
She's a villain. She's a rumman, and they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
Yeah. No.
But she likes to talk with the girls.
Oh, that scene. Sansa was having none of it. Not at all.
Yeah, I was just distracted the whole time by the beautiful armor thing that she's got on now.
Sansa.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very, very beautiful and intricate and all pointy and stuff.
Do you think it's metaphorical as well?
Well, yeah, but it just makes her look very strange. It looks like she's just put her head behind a cardboard cutout of this armor.
It's not her body.
Yeah, it seems very disjointed and she can't move.
I don't know if that's the hair, possibly, because they're sort of. It sounds like a strange comment, but they pulled back her hair so sharply.
Saying she's balding.
Not
You're saying she's fucking balding.
She's not.
Take that back.
Balding.
She's the internet's darling.
Sophie Turner. God, did you see that video the other day of her drinking wine?
No. What's another link then that it has?
It was the way she poisoned lords that betrayed her husband. So connected to Arya.
Okay. Yes.
The way she responded to the phrase.
Yes, exactly.
So I don't know the entirety of the song, but there are some connections. So probably, I suspect if you to overanalyze it, you possibly would be no surer upon how the series would end, but you may have some extra theories.
I remember it now. I was just trying to even place where it was in the episode. It's what Pod sings.
It's what Pod sings. It was also the end credits sung by not Lana Del Rey. Voice. Her last album was good.
Yeah, I forget. People will know.
Yeah, someone out there will know. Just write it in the comments.
Our Girl did it.
Our Girl.
Our Girl.
That's that terrible TV series. Our Girl.
Our Girl. About a female. Our Girl abroad. The skin, hard and hair. I don't know about that.
So what else would happen? So we've discussed the budding love. Well, I'm gonna let's go in there.
Well, that was an example of fan service, wasn't it?
Yes.
And so we've had all our lovely reunions, and now we're having Bran, the fan service machine, just throwing out lovely little nods to the audience, and the audience alone. Everyone else in the room is stunned by what he's saying. It's just like, I can't place why would he just have spoken and said that? But it's like literally just for you might as well look into the camera when he says these things. But I suppose he's looking at Jamie. It's just for Jamie, isn't it? That's the point.
Yes, you have to go for those. So many things that do get away with those sort of those exposition lines that explain plot points and stuff like that.
Expositional stuff.
You don't really need, if you have any form of intelligence.
Yeah.
But so sometimes it's nice because for the in-universe characters to hear those things, but not all the time.
Yes. But no, I'm loving Bran. Bran's very good fun, isn't he now?
Yeah, well, he was very helpful with discussing the plan how to slay the Night King.
Yeah, it is like, are they going to have a storyline of everyone doubting Bran?
I don't think so.
Because there's no
doubts at all for him.
Well, that he speaks the truth and that he is a mystic being.
Think about Littlefinger's trial.
Yeah, but I mean, no one cares about what's happening with Littlefinger, do they? As long as there's some air of legitimacy, everyone's like, yeah, cool, kill Littlefinger. Who cares? We don't. Everyone hates him.
Yes.
It's weird that he's here. You're killing him? Cool.
Were you okay with that?
Oh, no, but I don't think they have they?
What?
Well, if there was more time, I'd say that they haven't actually killed him. And that they killed a faceless man type stand-in.
You think he's that?
I like that theory. I like it.
Oh, fair enough.
Because it explains how,
he got around everywhere.
Dumb and stupid. Maybe it explains how he got around everywhere, but I don't think we're meant to worry about that. I think it explains how dumb and stupid he was, and how dumb and stupid he acted, even if he had sort of cracked and realised that he'd lost it all in that scene and in the 2 episodes prior.
Yes, fair enough.
I think that would be good. I'd like that. I'd like to think
so.
So.
It's entire manipulation in the Sansa.
Yeah.
I remember watching that and thinking, surely not. Sure, this isn't going to work this time. This is too obvious, too.
Yeah, I know. It was sad. And apparently we're supposed to believe that they are actually against each other. Sansa and Arya, they are actually arguing these, the scenes that you look back on and think, oh, they were probably doing that for show.
Yeah.
Apparently, no, they weren't. No, they just did. That missing scene that we saw where they decided to do all this was very, very, very soon before they did it.
Right. Okay. Oh, grand manipulators all of a sudden as well.
Well, no, they're not. That's it. They just stumbled into the idea and then could become grand manipulators immediately after having been emotional idiots before that.
Well, why not at this point in Game of Thrones?
Yeah, but that justifies...
Well, I personally, I just want to see Varys and Littlefinger have at least one more conversation before...
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? At one point in this episode, Brienne turned around when she was inside. I forget when it was. It was just lit by candlelight.
It's the second episode, just for the
second episode of the
season
series. She turned around, and I thought it was Varys wearing his little wig.
Oh, right.
I really thought it was. I was like, oh, Varys is in disguise.
It's
Varys
happened.
is in one of his shitty little disguises that doesn't look good on telly. But no, it was just her looking mournfully around. But yeah, I love the Brienne thing. That was the best fan service. Let's just say it.
Take a knee.
That was the best fan service bit. That whole little group of them chatting there and being in that room was obviously. I was like,
the whole group was just in the room.
I was thinking they're taking the time on this, and they're right to. They're not losing focus about what people do like about it.
You're correct. You are right. And I think they have to do it as well because it builds up the stakes, doesn't it, for what's about to come. I mean, we all love them, but it would never have hit home the sheer genocide that's about to happen properly, having had these moments to re-establish those bonds, those links, and these characters,
and for us to keep track of who are we actually dealing with now. What is the brigade of people that if they die it matters?
How far they come?
Yeah,
and this is where I possibly may. No, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm going to add something to the comment about Brienne's knighthood being fan service. I think that perhaps is more just the culmination of a character arc.
Oh, definitely. But I just mean how they did it.
With it being Jamie there, specifically, and
it being fun, it being a fun time,
right?
It not being something that was, just very dramatic. And yes, the character has culminated. Brilliant. We get to do this before it all ends.
Yes, because 4 or 5 seasons ago that had been done.
Yeah,
in witness of Rob or something. Some majestic being that leads everyone.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, but it's all very human and sort of off the books and lovely, and it was very, very good.
And true to Jamie as well.
Oh yeah, big time.
Which is good.
Yeah.
And
he should still be insulting her a little bit though.
He should be,
because it just makes me think he doesn't fancy her at all anymore.
Okay, yes, but maybe it has moved from being a boyish crush like it was.
Yeah, to just respecting a friend that was like confusing initially.
Maybe not even a friend, but a friend, but also a peer.
Yeah, well, there's definitely that now. He's put himself below her.
Yeah.
Quite. Yeah. But what do you reckon? Do you reckon he is actually going to be in all the fighting? When the big battles happen, are we going to be cutting to him? And the emphasis not being on, oh, I can't fight as well as I used to. Oh, everyone else is doing okay, but, with the old hand problem, I might be struggling a little bit, needing people to save me. Because that was kind of what was going on in the attack on the caravan.
Yes.
Bronn kept needing to come and help him. He was running from that one Dothraki guy, like, oh shit, I'm giving up now. Like, I'm done for. Are we going to just be cutting to him, for the 2 frames that everyone gets in the fight?
I think it will be. I don't think he'll be doing much in the fight.
It won't, right, yeah.
I think I could see maybe sort of like Jon losing the battle to go after the Night King, something emotional, like Jon would truly do. Maybe when the dragons get down, Daenerys gets distracted, and then it's left. I can see it ending up being left to Tyrion and Jamie to perhaps command actually how the battle, or how the retreat from the incoming horde. Because I don't think they're going to take them in the field. I don't think it's going to be they're keeping it at bay in the field, and the Night King is all dealt with in the woods. I think they're going to get pushed back to Winterfell.
Well, something completely different is going to happen. It's not going to be a standard thing at all. It's going to be maybe even they're going to negotiate or something. They're just going to talk.
That would be completely off the wall.
For the first half of the episode kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then there is a fight, but there isn't that much made of it because it's all so catastrophic and so much more than they could ever have. I don't know. I think they're going to do something non-standard with it. I don't think it's just going to be a fight the whole time. And if it is, that's okay, but there's going to be machinations at the same time. There's going to be cut in between loads of different things if they don't do something very non-standard all the way through.
Do you buy into the theory of the Night King actually being there?
Well, what did Bran say about it? Well, they said he won't be there. He won't be out.
They say he won't expose himself.
Yeah.
The fan theories have come up now saying that you didn't see the Night King in the preview. You didn't see him arrive with the other mounted cavalry. But there was a premonition that Bran had in season 4, I think, with a dragon that sounds very similar to the Night King's dragon at the end of the last season, flying over King's Landing.
Right.
So some people have proposed the idea that perhaps the Night King actually isn't there and he's going down to King's Landing to torch the place, kill as many people as possible, raise them as another army, whilst his former army gets defeated but weakens and takes out, and then...
But is that for his plan post whatever his business is with Bran?
Possibly.
Is he sort of getting ahead of the what's to come after he gets rid of Bran? Because what is Bran preventing at the moment?
Well, they've said his motivation. Which I've got no reason to believe. I think they were just doing that for simplicity's sake now, because they can't. The Night King's like a Hollywood B-villain, and he has no true motivation. It's just to kill, isn't it? So
this is what I'm hoping will be changed next episode.
You want them to have a deeper motivation.
Yes, I want them to. I want the whole thing to be, revealed as something other than what we think it is.
Well, that would be cool.
Because they've got to do it now if they're going to do it. If they're not going to do it, it's not going to end any way that we'd hope. Maybe this is just me hoping it's, there's something that's paid off that George R. R. Martin has told them that he's been thinking of. It is the grand twist. It won't be the same as his twist exactly, but there will be something big, and it'll be this episode. It can't just be fighting.
I think it will be. I would like a twist, but I think it will be. But
weirdness with Bran, and
what weirdness with Bran?
I don't know. Just we don't know what he's capable of. We don't know why the Three-Eyed Raven, other than informing people of things, which he seems to do very seldom.
Do you think
It is such a linchpin thing that the Night King wants to get rid of him? I just don't understand why he's bothered about him anymore.
Well, they did explain. That's what I was trying to get at. They did explain that Bran is history. He's living history, past, present, and future. So if the Night King wants to bring endless night and destroy the world and men, to borrow that line that they use from Lord of the Rings, Bran is an excellent way of doing it. Destroying Bran is
ideologically and sort of politically and
you're saying that's
culturally
possibly not enough of a motivation.
Well, for right now. So the whole going to King's Landing thing makes sense. But they were painting out in the show as if the only reason they've broken down the wall, the only reason that they're coming over here, is because he got out of his hidey hole beyond the wall, was taken over. All the stirrings are happening magically, so they probably were activating already, the White Walkers and all this.
Yeah.
But they are. It seems like they're saying it was all about Bran. Like he just wants Bran.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Well, I always see the Night King as just a weapon, because he was created as a weapon. So that's how I perceive him.
Was he created as a weapon by the Children of the Forest?
They said yes. He was, because they couldn't beat men. Men were killing them and slaughtering, so they had to create something to fight back men. So that's kind of the way I perceive him. He's a bit like he's a missile. He's just going to keep going until stopped.
Right.
Keep doing what he was originally programmed to do.
I see.
I mean, I find that to be quite a very. It's a cold, turn of pun, but he's a cold threat. He's.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that.
He is deaf. He's deaf embodied in an actual physical form.
Yeah, maybe I am trying to drag it back to the old days, Game of Thrones. So that's what I'm doing.
Isn't that mysterious? Like, what is the motivation? What do these?
Yeah, exactly,
really want?
And that they will become a player of the game when they're not, are they? They're the thing that means the game stops.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, hey, let's talk. That's how I imagine them speaking. Hey.
Well, I think
I'm really sorry.
Well, that's some posh sort of like very raspy. Like.
Do you know what I also had a thought of the other day? The whole cycle of the grand scale of things that happens with ice and fire.
Yes. You may be going where I was just about to go. Actually, keep going.
Well, no, I think it's a stupid idea. It's probably been debunked. But could it be that they will always win? North will always move further south, and it just happens so infrequently at these big cataclysmic events that no one remembers that that's what happened last time, and that sort of their world is on sort of a wheel, and they're just taking a little click around the wheel every time that the
White Walkers. Eventually the
it's
fire
like a
will come back from the
seasonal.
north.
It's like a seasonal thing. Yeah, they just go round in a circle, round and round and round and round. This happens every now and again, and the land masses that they're on are just different, and they just forget.
So
because like the first men came from
Essos.
Yeah, exactly. But what Essos hasn't been Winterfell.
Oh no, sorry. The first men were there, weren't they? It was the Andals that came from. Was it the Andals that came from Essos, and the first men that were on Westeros already?
Yes, but they may be the last remaining people from those that fled south from the last time it happened. I don't know. I'm just thinking there might be something cyclical. It's very interesting trying to think about it on all the different levels.
I'd say possibly in the books, but obviously in the TV show we know that the Children of the Forest created the White Walkers to be a weapon against men. That was the first iteration back when the North wasn't cold. It was still
exactly. Yeah, we saw that, didn't we? Yeah, exactly. But was that because it was in a summer?
Well, they wanted to.
In a winter, it wouldn't have been. I don't know. I haven't got my head sorted on all the mythology.
I was going to say, you talk about this. I think it's just a big grand. I think we overcomplicate it. It's just a big grand metaphor for life and death.
Yes,
isn't it? The whole Game of Thrones and South is just people distracting themselves whilst they live, ignoring this ever creeping darkness, which is inevitably going to come. Thinking they can stop it, so maybe that's how it was, and maybe the Battle of Winterfell is going to end with the Night King victorious, and the heroes, the last 2 or 3 heroes, hopping on Drogon and flying south with their tail between their legs.
And then we get a few episodes of the White Walkers just silently walking around Winterfell.
Yeah, as they try and convince Cersei that all is lost, and Cersei's like, "I'll save you all."
You're my children now.
Yes.
I love you all like my children.
And then she rides an elephant. She finally gets the elephant she wants and rides it into battle and then gets killed and the Night King wins. And that's how the series ends.
Was that like a game? Was that a Lord of the Rings reference?
The elephants.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I felt like it was at the time. I thought they were going to be like, yeah, the one thing we're not going to do is the elephants. The elephants didn't work very well.
Do you not think the elephants worked very well?
Well, I loved them, obviously, but I was a child.
Oh, I think the Battle of Pelennor Fields.
Oliphants, I love.
Oh.
Oliphants,
That's
they
what
were
I meant.
brilliant.
Sorry,
they were brilliant, but they used a few elephants in the background because they couldn't afford any more Oliphants. The genetic engineering costs.
No, terrible. Yeah.
So they scaled up a few elephants, green screened them in the background. I could tell.
Right.
Wasn't happy with that. But if she'd said she wanted Oliphants,
you'd have been down with that. Elephants now.
Need to contact the Iron Bank and the Maesters because they're going to need to advance quite a lot to create such a beast genetically.
Well, they can do it.
The candles. They use the candles.
Use the candles, yes. The magic candles. Peter Baelish could create a teleportation device, so why not?
Yeah.
He could teleport to an alternate dimension.
Didn't it seem like the carriage he had was like a century later than the carriages everyone else has? It looked like Victorian.
Well, his clothing as well was always a little bit.
It was, yeah. Where's the manufacturing come from here?
Yeah,
he could be from space.
Yeah, because everyone else, it was believed, or maybe other than Cersei, like her later gear, perhaps maybe isn't as convincing.
Yeah,
in the earlier seasons, he really did.
Yeah, he could be from space, couldn't he?
Maybe maybe he's the Night King. Everyone's bothered about who the bloody Night King is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna try. I like getting surprised, but that's what I'm hoping will happen in the big battle episode. That it won't just be all about the big battle, and that the battle will be them just getting totally obliterated until something happens.
I wonder if maybe a partially could be correct. Perhaps the Night King is about to win. He's about to play his trump card, and Jon talks to him. I know what was done to you.
You're my family.
You're a Stark.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this. That's those sorts of lines, and
you don't have to do.
And the Night King's there with that sickle weapon. He's about to slay Bran, and that moment he pauses as that tear cracks down his cheek.
That would be.
And then Drogon reaches down and bites him and breathes fire at him as he's done it. So.
In the shot-for-shot remake of when Shrek, when Farquaad gets exactly like that. That's what I want.
You see, part of me also wanted like a Dragon Ball Z kind of ending, sort of like two of the dragons breathing fire on the Night King, and he's just there with his arms up, deflecting it with pure cold, and sort of bending it around him as he marches very slowly forward towards him. And Dany's sort of like pushing the dragons now harder.
Yeah, pushing the reins as if that does something.
And Jon's on the floor, sort of like just crawling towards Longtooth to strike the final blow. And then in that moment, the Night King turns, realizing that Jon's there, touches him, starts to freeze him, but it's too late. Longclaw's inside the Night King, bisecting him, and they both die. Or maybe Jon grabs him from behind, just like was it when Goku and Piccolo kill Raditz. I'm going back here now. Jon grabs him behind, holds his arm, stops him from deflecting the heat, but the dragonfire kills them both in the process.
Verbally describing Dragon Ball Z is something that I don't know what it is. It's got a certain allure about it. I remember I used to describe whole episodes of Dragon Ball Z.
Your brother used to people because I couldn't see it, so I didn't have Sky.
So right, yeah. Maybe that was it. Yeah, I'd just describe it all the way through, and that person would be captivated. That was brilliant.
I was, yeah. It was like, and you hear legends as a child of Hercules, and it's like, what feat has Goku reached this episode?
But I had no context to put Dragon Ball Z in. I didn't know that explicitly that it was Japanese even. Yeah, it's just something that's on. It's pretty crazy. Kids' TV is weird.
People hit each other and islands blow up behind them.
Yeah.
And they're so fast sometimes. Well, I don't know if they're so fast or they're teleporting. Anyway.
But they've made it a bit less Dragon Ball Z, I think. They could be Dragon Ball Z with warging. Come on, warging.
Yes, greatly
We're missing warging.
They have not.
Why didn't they do it?
It's like, could Bran have could it be like Apocalypse in the last X-Men film,
Oh, I didn't see... Oh, did I see that one?
Well, Professor X is having a mental fight with Apocalypse at the same time as he's having a physical fight with all the other X-Men. So perhaps Bran could be having like a warg fight with the Night King, trying to take over his body, and the Night King
while he has a physical fight with
John,
gravity.
with John and Danny at the same time.
Just sort of slapping them.
Yeah, just no.
I'm fighting on two fronts. I fight in the mind.
No, I'm anticipating that Wise and I can't remember the other chap's name. They'll come up with a more elegant fight. Well, not necessarily elegant, but a more elegantly written fight.
Yeah.
And some of these examples.
Yeah, but there's pretty much no use speculating, is it? It's fun, but it just goes nowhere. But Theon, why Theon?
Because he's got to do something.
I know, but don't let him be responsible for it. All he ever does is puss out.
Surely you would have, in truth, you'd have Brienne, John.
Yeah. And what's the plan as well? They didn't say the plan. It's like, I'll be there just in case. Of what? Of him trying to kill him? Well, he just said that's what he wants to do.
Well, he said the dragons would have to be there, didn't they?
Right, yeah,
John did mention that, which means Daenerys is going to have to be there.
Well, I suppose,
I assume John will be there. So,
but Daenerys can flip back and forth on the back.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Do you think there's any danger with the crypts? All the bodies down there? Are they decomposed enough to stop the Night King? Or is it because they're Stark and they're buried in Stark lands, they'll be safe?
Won't be revived?
Yes. I kind of think that's going to happen.
It could happen, couldn't it?
Because Tyrion's not down there, which means there's a lot of expendable characters down there now.
Right, but all the ones that, you could just say, is it's an atrocity that they got killed?
Yeah.
No one actually...
Was it Varys? Varys, Gilly... Varys and Gilly are probably the two... Are they the two named characters that are in...
I'd forgot Varys was going down there.
And Sansa, perhaps, as well? Because Varys and Tyrion had that discussion.
Well, they'll have a thing down there, but it won't be that everyone dies.
No, they'll probably have to be able to run away.
Maybe a couple of people will die.
Maybe Arya will go down there, because you see her in one of the trailers. You saw her running, which looked like through the
yes,
so.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? But that won't be in the crypt.
Crypts, yes, that's it. Not catacombs.
I think you said crypt before, and that did look like it was in just tunnels. But the opening sequence as well now swoops down and below into Winterfell.
It does, yes.
So they're emphasising that area. But yeah, from that trailery thing with Arya running around, it seems like the Night King's just like there on his own, like just fucking Arya kid,
stomping
like there for
Jason
Arya.
Voorhees.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be fun to have that kind of thing with the Night King going on, turn him into a take the scale way down.
Yes.
Like my favourite film, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, when they take the scale down and have the dinosaur be chasing a little girl around the mansion.
Yes, because that film was so
good. My favourite film, man. Come on, back off. It's so well structured.
Oh yes, right. Okay. There's no big questions that they just like paste over with nothing.
Yeah. No.
Like huge questions and implications.
No.
It's a dinosaur film. No. Oh wait.
What I like about it is it didn't take liberties with the franchise, and it didn't set the course for whatever will come next on a terrible path that it won't work. It didn't do that
in a non completely nonsensical way.
Yeah. It didn't do. Oh no, I'm just gonna stop.
So what else we had? Samwell. Let's talk about Samwell for a minute. Let's go. We've spoken about the Night King. We don't know. We speculated. But
what happened with Samwell then? It was all.
He found out his family had died, and then he gave his sword up. Do you think? First question: do you think Sam's going to survive the battle? I don't. I think the sword. I think him giving the sword up was foreshadowing, and then him reminding everybody of his successes and how far he's come as a character.
Yeah.
Quite similar to Brienne. I think
it's true.
I think she's got the sword of Damocles hanging above her as well.
I'd like Sam to go bad. I'd like Sam to side with Daenerys when she goes bad.
Oh, that would be a twist, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Daenerys gets the maesters on side.
He gets all the maesters.
I've added a couple of seasons on.
Well, George R. R. Martin said they needed an extra season, 2 seasons, didn't he?
Did he say that? Yeah.
He felt they needed an extra 2 seasons.
Well, that makes sense. It feels like he needs a very long book.
Well, yeah, he's supposed to be finishing it in 2 books. I think.
Is it in 2? All right, yeah.
Which I don't think is going to be possible.
Doesn't matter anymore, does it?
No.
That matters. I've forgotten the books entirely. Forgotten them.
Well, I read up until I got halfway through Dancing Dragons, at which point the TV series had gone past that timeline.
Oh, so you haven't read all of them?
Well, I've got the last half of the book.
What do you mean reread or read?
No, I'd read all the way up to halfway through Dancing Dragons, which is the 5th and latest book.
Yeah.
And by that point, I'd thought, well, I've got the TV series now. This man's taking so long. I'm probably over the same age as him.
This man. There we go. It's criticism. It's a metaphor. It's a sort of metaphor.
Plus the Feast for Crows was god awful and boring.
Was it? Was that about? I forget. I ate them all up. I read them all within about 3 months. I remember. That's all I did.
The first 3 books I destroyed. It must have been a week each or something like that. But the Feast for Crows, it took me a summer. It took me about 3 months to get through that.
I just gave up trying to pay as much attention, and I just read them all like they were pulp stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I stopped trying to be like, okay. This is too much for me to try and keep track of, and to go, I'll just go and get the book from 2 books back and get my sticky note page out and I'll check what they meant about that. I was just like, okay, I'm probably going to miss a lot. Let's just get through this. Well,
not just that, but I get the impression, I know I'm not alone from reading online, probably, because the internet is dark and full of terrors, but there's a running thought that he doesn't actually know how to end it now, and he's just completely buying. Because he originally said he wanted to do a 5-year time jump, and
I remember about all this. Yes,
just clearly need to do that. Anyway, back to the TV show. With Samwell, there isn't much to suppose to discuss about Samwell. He didn't respond to his family being killed in the same way I thought he may have.
No, but he's a different man, isn't he? Like the resentment that he had for them was sort of a childish one. No matter how justified it was. That was when he was sort of. They were only talking about that when he was very fresh off from leaving home and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's probably, changed what he thinks about a lot of it. But I think it was more just he was sort of worried about her being there in the first place, and so that's what coloured the performance of it, was that he was just like, okay, I'm having to suppress it, so it's seeming more.
And I know what John is, so what this means to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's more than he is. Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
Dad! Oh!
And now you're repressing me.
Oh, John! Oh God!
Yeah, I think it's just the whole situation. He's like, oh God, it's not simple, is it? It's all got muddied up. But yeah, I don't know why he cared that much. I mean, his brother seemed nice. Why had he never mentioned his nice brother before?
Dickon. No, yeah, he was a reasonable chap. Seemed honourable enough.
Oh, no one liked to talk to me.
Even though he had plastic surgery between the 5th and the 6th season, I think it was, the 6th and 7th season.
Really?
Well, you recast him, didn't they, between seasons?
Oh, right. Oh, I see. Oh, right. I thought you just meant the actor got plastic surgery.
No, I think, bloody hell.
Well, the burns, Sean, the burns.
Oh, yeah, rebuilt him with plastic.
Yeah, it had to be done. Right, so it was a different actor, right? Yeah, I remember thinking, haven't we seen it?
A bit like, what was he called? Dario. Again, fantastic transformation between seasons.
Oh yeah, Dario had one. That was the most blatant one they've done so far, isn't it? That was crazy. I don't even remember the first guy. They did.
He was the
Beric Dondarrion as well.
Yes, and the Mountain, of course. 3 different actors played the Mountain.
Oh well, yeah, big guys. They're all the same to me.
The first one was exactly how I pictured the Mountain.
Was he the hairier one?
Yeah, he genuinely didn't have to even look. He didn't have to attempt to look threatening. He looked threatening.
Yeah,
and gigantic. We haven't spoken about Tyrion actually in our.
Okay, yeah, because they did focus on it again. Yes, with Tyrion, his sort of reprieve in the eyes of the consensus of the rest of the characters. People standing up for him.
Yeah, well,
there's people standing up for all the Lannisters, wasn't it?
Well, everyone's been nice to each other.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
it's very Game of Thronesy actually in that regard.
Yeah, but it makes sense. They need to get over the whole. There's an argument. The argument against it is no. We've got to band together now. None of this matters.
Yeah.
We've got to. There's a bigger four. Like, okay, yeah, that everyone's cottoned on to that now.
Thank God, I suppose. Yes.
Yeah, so we don't need to keep doing that. It's real. yeah, we get it, yeah.
But then, in true Daenerys fashion, she's still... Well, I suppose she's not wrong to question Tyrion because he has made two big mistakes.
Yes,
some of the advice
exactly.
he's given has made some mistakes.
Exactly. And from her perspective, what has she got to not think he's just talking bullshit other than other people's words?
But that's the problem. Well, I wonder if they've done that on purpose to play into it later in the season.
I don't know. It just seems like they've set up a big dramatic thing and then just said, oh, actually, no, it's all fine.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Have they done that just to fabricate to give Tyrion and Daenerys something to do?
So I think so. I think so.
In the meantime, and it's not actually going to play a big part later. Because I thought maybe
all is forgotten now.
Maybe it could be if all of a sudden she relies on advice. And they played up the fact that she's doubtful, and then she doesn't trust him, and it goes really badly for her.
Well, maybe it's just that he's not going to be much of a player anymore. He's not going to be making decisions that could go wrong or right. He's just going to be around and like a perspective character for the bigger events that are going on. He's not actually involved with that much anymore. And then sort of his ending is, oh, he was clever. Oh no, is he clever? Yes, he is clever. End of.
Yeah.
How was it proven? Well, people brought up the stuff from the past, didn't they? They said, remember the good stuff? And they're like, oh yeah, the bad stuff wasn't that bad. Okay.
But I wonder if the fact that he stayed out of the crypts, he might play, like I said before, he might end up playing some pivotal part in the Battle of Winterfell.
Maybe.
And end up perhaps even taking command or something like that, and proving himself.
Yeah. With Tyrion, was there a Volunteer thing?
They did.
In this episode, the rip her apart thing. And then I'll go to King's Landing and rip her apart. Wasn't that the language used by the mystic or whatever that she got Cersei got the reading from?
But that's only in the books, isn't it? I don't think they've referenced that at all.
I know, but that's what I mean. Is it a little nod to that?
Possibly,
because wasn't there something about he'll rip you apart was part of it? I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
The Volunteer will do that, and that's why she thought it was him, like a little.
Was it not? He will rip their mother-in-laws,
rip them from their bellies, or something. Rip the children from their belly, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Something like that. And he was a child. He was ripped from a belly, or ripped his way through a belly. So
it was something like that. But it was a bit strange when he said it. I was just.
In fact, did he say it to Jamie?
Yeah, to Jamie. Yeah, and maybe I'll go down there and rip her apart.
And Jamie was quite accepting. I suppose Jamie's signed off on Cersei now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's happened now, whereas it happened in book 4, didn't it? I think.
With what were they called? The black
kettlebacks.
Kettlebacks. Yeah, the Kettleback brothers that she was just whoring about and just having a great old time.
And he buggers off to Riverrun, doesn't he?
Yeah. Which sort of still happened in the program, didn't it? Or he went off to fight. I forget, but.
Well, I think she betrayed him so many times, didn't she? In the end, and in the last 2 seasons, she's betrayed him a few times, and she's done quite a few questionable things. I think he's finally clicked on that. Yes, I always knew she was an absolute nutbag, but when it comes down to it,
I like that.
She's actually gone too far now.
Yeah, I like that in the last episode as well. That you always knew. It's like, yeah, of course you did.
He says it, doesn't he, in the earlier seasons as well? He says like Cersei is fierce and
yeah. He did admit it, didn't he?
So I think whereas in the past, perhaps he saw it as a redeeming quality because it was protective, or at least she held
when his father was around and he could like put it in the context of him who seemed so together and not maniacal.
Yeah. Then the thing is, though, Tywin did have it together, I suppose, and he was tyrannical, perhaps not maniacal, whereas she is maniacal,
but not like in a malicious way, unless it was as revenge. But yeah, all of Cersei's stuff is now classed under revenge somehow or other.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciated her blowing up the sept of Baelor.
Yeah.
The fact that her watching it, it's the first time you've seen her smile properly in quite a while. And
that was great, That was a really major thing, wasn't it? That,
and the fact Marjorie clicked on as well. It was good that she knew she was intelligent enough, and she was portrayed as intelligent all the way through. And the Sparrow, just another player, knocked off. Yeah,
but that was a good little. The show did well with the Sparrow, and making you like really hate them and be like, people like that. fuck off. Just fuck off.
Holier than thou.
Yeah, holier than thou with your groups of
But
thugs with koshes. Yeah, maces and stuff. Yeah. But it's hard to see now how Cersei's going to factor in that much, other than if she's going to be like taught a lesson.
Yeah, but I don't think she is. I think that. Oh, sorry, no. This isn't next episode, but after that, it's back. It's back to Cersei. I think. I said in my blog.
She isn't in the next episode.
No, I don't think she will be. I think I've said in my blog, and I'm going to stick by that. I think next episode, one way or the other, is going to round up everything to do with the Night King and the White Walkers.
Really?
I think back and forth, and I think the last 3 episodes is going to be all about the humans once again playing the Game of Thrones.
It would make sense, but I don't like that. It won't be wound up entirely. The impending doom aspect of winter is coming and all of that. The internet obviously is here, but maybe bigger than the Night King or something.
So, look, you think? Well, I don't think they're introducing it bigger than the Night King now. I think we're at...
No, but you know the cycle, the fact that this has happened more over and over.
Yeah, but we've established, haven't we, in the show that that's unless we're going back eons, I suppose.
Yeah. I'm thinking on the big scale level.
The Lord of Light, sort of like a Wheel of Time.
Yeah, and I know it's probably not going to happen. They probably won't address it. It's part of the setting. It's part of the magical universe. That's lore. That's not the drama or the plot and the narrative that we're supposed to care about. Like they said in Lost at the end.
Yes, well, yeah.
It's all about the characters and all of that. But so many of the characters have things tied in with the larger lore of everything, the Lord of Light, the gods and all of that stuff.
Well, in the books, Euron's bound so many of them, hasn't he, I think?
Bound.
The gods. He's bound.
Well, it says he has. It's all spoken of in very sort of mythical terms, though, isn't it?
No. Apparently, in excerpts from the 6th book, The Winds of Winter, there's literal scenes where he's bound the drowned god to the mast of his ship, so he can control the winds and the tides now, like literal magic. And like they've made Euron into the major threat of the books. I feel like he's far more dangerous in the books than the Oath
definitely
in the TV series.
Definitely. But that goes along with the
time that
anti. What did we say? X-Men? No, it wasn't X-Men. What was I saying? Well, you were saying when I said we could put more wargs in there.
Oh, Dragon Ball Z.
Yes. It's because they've taken away all the Dragon Ball Z.
The more eccentric fantasy side of things. They've gone fairly eccentric.
Yeah, and they've done loads of magic stuff with the Lord of Light. It would be weird for that entity and that side not to be a player in what happens.
Or not to be commented on further.
Yeah.
It would be weird.
And then there's the many-faced god stuff, unless they're saying it's all just practical cutting faces and all that shit.
Yeah.
We've seen magic pretty much from that side of things as well. But I just think all that bigger picture stuff has to play in somehow. And I think it could with a big twist, like, this entity is getting involved.
I don't think it will.
But it wouldn't play very well, would it?
Because I don't think there's enough time. I think that will all be explored in the prequel series that they're planning,
right?
Which is going back to the original Long Night, isn't it? The first war against
they can explain away a lot of what they've done as lore building for the TV watchers.
The Lord of Light, the Children of the Forest, the magic, the First Men. I think they can get onto all that back then. But I think now, because one thing they've established in Game of Thrones running through is that. Basically, the same as it is in reality. That if there's a god, they work in mysterious ways.
Yeah, I like that. I like that about the 7. You know, the old gods and not the old gods because they're
the Children of the Forest.
So is it the 7 or the 9? I'm thinking Elder Scrolls here. I think with the 9.
Well, you got the 7, but they do nothing. There's no
exactly. I like them being the one that is like religion in modern times.
Right.
Where it's all symbolic. If there was anything to it initially, it's now just been sort of folklorized and made into a cultural thing and not about astronomical beings and their actions. But there definitely are things like that going on. So it would be very strange because the stakes are so high now. We've reached the mythical point where it's ice dragons and fire dragons, fighting. We're on that mythic level now. So it would be weird for it not to become more complicated, I think. I think they could throw crazy stuff out there. Have Euron turning up, having bound the drowned god, and, somehow inadvertently saving all of them or something.
Yes, that would be completely off the left field, wouldn't it? Really?
Yeah, by flooding everything around Winterfell or something like that.
Maybe Bran's vision of the sea coming to Winterfell didn't refer to Theon in the second season.
Maybe it did.
Maybe it refers to Theon. Euron arriving now.
Yeah,
drowning.
I just think there's so much more scope for how things could play out in a more interesting way than one side wins.
Well, it won't be as clean as
because
that.
Of that. No, but I'm just thinking where
the Pyrrhic victory is for whichever side.
Yes.
Well, no, actually, because if the Night King wins, it's not a Pyrrhic victory for him, is it? He just resurrects all the dead humans.
Well, yeah, and then there's no history, so he can just carry on and just deal with the rest, and then it's gone for good.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But if he was built as a weapon by the Children of the Forest, why would they have that in mind? Why do they think that the realms of man being a threat to them would be lessened as a threat by them having lost all their history and all that? Why did they think on such a grand scale, we've got to get rid of men forever? Not just these ones that have this problem with us. We're going to genocide that race. What is ad infinitum and post hoc never existed.
Maybe that's a case of just either the weapon grew beyond their control, as weapons tend to do. Gun control, things like that is a very loose statement, isn't it? In reality, or maybe it's a case of that it was tit for tat. During the Forest there was a genocide going on there. And they thought, well, you know what? If you bastards are coming for us like that, we're going to come for you. Yeah, I mean, they've not been implied to be particularly, more wiser than men or anything like that. They're just a different species.
But that's with the idea that
we've got a connection to nature, like elves. The elves of the Game of Thrones world is what they are, really, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, because they're the ancient ones.
Yes. But all, dancing around. I'm the druid.
Oh yeah, but I don't know about the mythology of it all. It makes it hard. I want to speculate about it, but I'm probably just wrong.
And I think this is why they won't do it, because you will not be the only fan. There'll be watching the TV show, and there'll be people far less knowledgeable on fantasy and sci-fi than yourself. They'll be sat there. If they just bang out the Lord of Lights, striking down the Night King on his dragon in the middle of the fight. It would be that.
What about a load of shadow babies?
Well, yeah, I mean, they could have a line of the Red Priest just sat on there, just on the backs.
Melisandre turns up on the top of like a pillar with a slide coming down from it, on her back, legs open, spitting out shadow babies.
In all fairness, she could end the war like that, couldn't she? Because she could just create a shadow baby, give it Arya's Valyrian steel dagger, and just sneak up and stab the Night King in the back.
Not a bad idea.
Done.
These are the kind of things I'm talking about, Sean. Now we're thinking. These are the sort of hacks.
Now, is that? I'm going to say, is that an actual possible? Is that a big plot hole that they've possibly not addressed?
Well, the shadow baby's effectiveness is as murky as his form. Oh,
yes. Oh. So never the twain shall meet again.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a whole. Like you said, there's not many episodes. She says she's going to come back and die in this place. The big thing where loads of people are going to be dying is happening next episode.
Or maybe she's going to walk into King's Landing and hug Cersei, and the two of them will burst into flame.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
That'd be a very interesting ending. I still think. Yeah. I wonder if Jaime's going to kill the Night King. I wonder if it's the whole, he's the Kingslayer is a big old clock on the chin for the entire series.
Yeah.
He's the Night King. This is the Kingslayer.
Yeah.
You should have seen that one coming. A lot of you shouldn't you fools?
I like it. Kingslayer's a Stark. Lannisters versus Starks. It's always been the way.
Oh yeah, and if the the Night King is actually a Stark.
Yeah.
Because of the wolf that was in the pattern at the dead. The last season, they walking through them. I do love some of these crazy theories, like Bran being the Night King.
I didn't know it was linked with the wolf.
Yeah, apparently the dead, when they're traipsing through the wall, they make a very similar to the Stark emblem wolf head shape.
That's stupid.
And naturally the internet supposedly went crazy. A lad Bible apparently thought it was the next thing.
That's a typical surface level. Think about it for a second thing.
Oh, it looks remotely like that. I bet they did it on purpose just to mess around with all these people.
But what do you reckon? With people fast travelling everywhere, teleporting.
Yes.
The White Walkers, there's a lot of them, right?
A side note there, perhaps that's how Daenerys gets all her money. Maybe that she has like a dragon taxi service. But anyway, yeah. They're pretty fun. Anyway,
It could be. I doubt she would, be that sort of a business-minded person that she'd give service to the White Walkers. Just go, it's like any other customer, they pay.
Well, maybe she just goes, you will use my dragon.
Yeah.
Fire and blood, you will take my service and pay for it.
And when you are light, we shall battle. Get off the dragon will eviscerate you. We'll have your money.
So you think what are you suggesting, the White Walkers and their speed?
Yeah, well, so they've got to the last half, and they've done their business there, and so they're just moving slowly because there's a lot of them, and Tormund and all that lot got back with plenty of time to chat about it and say, they'll be here by tomorrow dawn.
Yeah, a good day, didn't they?
I just thought that when they got through, they'd be like, just
Well, I thought that
not
well.
marching between places, just spread out randomly, just fucking cover the whole place with zombies.
Yeah, because
they have a strategy apparently to go after Bran.
Yeah, I mean all these villages and things in between. The north, I know it's more sparsely populated than the south, but still, the Night King at some points is a fantastic strategist, and then at other points, because the first thing I would do is probably attack all these undefended small villages to increase my numbers.
Yeah, but also that it's been painted that they don't need to increase their numbers. They've
got
got everyone.
Over 100,000.
Yeah, just fucking swarm everything. Just swarm. But that's sort of happening, isn't it? That's on the cards to happen. It's just only been 2 episodes since they've got through the wall. Other people could have got to King's Landing and Essos by now, but somehow they make sense.
Yeah.